Hi, everybody. This is Chris.
And this is Matt.
And this is Archon. The light
Yes.
and the dark.
Both are featured.
We have the light and the dark. You know what we don't have here today, Matt?
A review?
We don't have a review here today, Matt.
We're not doing that. We're just kicking around Archon. We've played it for... It feels like we've been playing this for 1,000 years, but really it's only been a little over a month because we've moved stuff around and we had the year-end stuff.
If you came here for a review, there it was.
Yep. That's the closest you're going to get.
That's the closest you're going to get. No, it's a book club style format. We pick a game each month, 2 games a month actually now. Play them, come back and talk about them with our community. In the comments, the Discord, the Reddits, wherever you feel like wanting to talk to us about it, we'll talk about these games.
But be nice about it. There's no reason to be mean to people on the internet.
Oh, no matter how annoying my laugh is. I'm not hurt in carrying that to my grave.
Or how many times I mispronounce Oregon.
Are you mispronouncing Oregon?
Remember when we did the...
Oh, did you get a bunch of grief for that?
That's trail? Someone offhandedly mentioned that the way I mispronounce it drives them crazy. And it's because I get in my own head about these things. I think about it before. I'm like, am I going to say Oregon or Oregon? Which is it? And then I look it up, and then it comes time, and I just totally forget, and I say it wrong. I'm
going to have to look up what it is and say it wrong every time.
I know. I'm sorry, residents of Portland.
Portland? Yes, that's how you'd get around it.
Yep. Because we all know the state is just Portland.
The state is just Portland. Illinois is just Chicago.
Actually, that's kind of true. That's kind of true. And anything north of Madison does not exist in Wisconsin. Sorry, Chris.
I'm fading away.
Oh, wow, the visual effects are good today.
I know. I'm on top of things. All right.
Anyway, this is Archon from 1983.
And this is another reason why it's not reviews, because we're going to be off the topic quite a bit. So just enjoy the show. Archon, 1983. From Electronic Arts. Yes.
Yep.
Back when Electronic Arts was good.
Yes. And not evil.
Not evil.
I think it's interesting how they called out the developers. It's by Ann Westfall, okay, and John Freeman, ampersand, Paul Ritchie III.
Mm-hmm.
There's something going on there. Why the different punctuation? Why is it and... by Anne and John, ampersand Paul?
That, I didn't catch that till just now. That's fantastic. Why? I'm betting it's for literal balance.
I thought maybe it was because Ann Westfall and John Freeman are married. And they are a unit because... I guess that's what happens when you get married.
When you get married, you can only use certain forms of punctuation for your name.
So you have, like, in the order of operations, Ann Westfall and John Freeman is in parentheses, and Paul Ritchie is outside of that.
Paul Ritchie's over there in the corner. He knows why.
This is the least important detail about Archon.
It is, but it's fascinating. I'm going to stick with, though, I mean, unless we get to talk to one of them someday, that it's... so that, like, nobody's name is right in the middle of that black and white split.
That's probably true.
It creates enough characters to put it out. And that if you did something differently, it would push somebody in the wrong spot.
It's a really good logo. It's pretty good graphic design, I think. Like, it's interesting. It tells you about the game.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So
well, let's talk about the history.
No. We're going to stay on this for half a second.
Okay. You go ahead.
Because this is like the Commodore version, the original, like IBM version, all of them. But there is... I'm trying to find it here. There is a Nintendo version of the cover that's fantastic.
Okay. What?
And this is from Activision as the publisher for Nintendo.
Why does he just have a chain? That's not like, you don't do that. That's like the Sharks and the Jets stuff.
Well, it might be sharks and jet stuff, but look at that guy with the trident. That guy is in terror of Mr. Mullet Head and his biker chain bearing down on him. And I think that guy's like a squid guy or something. I don't know what's going on there, but I love it.
Yeah.
It's
Chain
so
guy
weird.
Has some fierce makeup on too.
Oh God, yeah. That is like
his face is beat.
He's part of the Kiss Army, man.
Yep.
Like, don't kiss people. Don't get on me about it being white and black. I know. I'd say Twisted Sister, but I don't know. I didn't feel like picking on them this moment.
Yeah. So
So this is a thing.
Definitely a different take on what Archon is. The other is like gives you the sense of majesty and strategy and design, and this is like balls out insanity.
And I feel like that describes both parts of the game.
Right.
So we'll get to that, right? I mean, like
maybe
that'll be. So I'll get the gameplay going. We can talk about history now. I just wanted to show that Nintendo thing when I found it. I'm like, oh, I got to show this because this is.
I'm so glad you did. Just the stark contrast between the two boxes, I think, is fantastic.
So different.
They know their audience at Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo knows who they're trying to get to rent this. I remember seeing this game in like the rental places on the thing. We never rented it, but I just like, no. I don't know if that's great or awful, or I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I tried to play this on an Amiga emulator with no luck, and I ended up back on trusty Commodore.
Yeah,
but I would have liked to see it because I think it does a lot of really interesting things, and I think it would look cool, like because there's different characters on each side, and like the sprites are really cool, and I think it would look great on the Amiga, but I couldn't get it to work. So
okay, well, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's stick with
we'll talk about it in a second.
We'll come back to that because we were starting on history, and then I got you pointed at the Nintendo box, and everything was horribly wrong.
And I'm never going to be able to let it go.
No, me either. That's why I kept it.
Let's talk about the trifecta of John Freeman, Paul Ritchie, and Ann Westfall, who made this, went on to found the company that became Epix, I think.
I believe so.
They did, at least Paul Ritchie did some D&D stuff on pen and paper. He invented a race of mantis warriors for the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons monster cards.
He did the 3 crit?
Yes. Oh. Yes, he did. He invented that.
That's cool.
3 Kreen, the Mantis Warriors. So, if you ever find yourself around the table fighting Mantis Warriors in D&D, you'll be like, I know who did this.
I know who did this. Everybody else knows him from, at least on our channel, probably knows him from Star Control.
Yeah, he's really had kind of your dream career trajectory, starting with pen and paper, moving into development. Now he ended up doing my connection with him is that he made Skylanders, which when my son was very young.
Your son, yes.
yes, my son.
I've never seen this son, Matt.
Yeah, it's actually my Skylanders collection. So I bought a lot of those fucking things.
Yeah.
A lot of Skylanders.
My nephew was into him. So he was into Skylanders. He went to work on Skylanders. That's interesting.
Yeah. Did a Tony Hawk game and then Skylanders. Very good.
Yeah. John Freeman. For some reason, I liked him. His first game was Tax Dodge for the Atari 800 that I guess was a Pac-Man style, but a little bit different game. And not to be confused with Tax Avoiders for the Atari 2600, which is the worst game ever made. You should check it out.
Really? Oh, we got to play it.
Oh, God, it's so bad. It's so bad. And then he wrote the complete book of war games in 1980, which is kind of cool.
That is cool. I wonder, we should do an annual. Are there enough tax games that we could do
tax games?
Every tax season we do play a different tax themed video game.
I can think of at least 3. Let's not do that. I don't think that'd be fun.
Let's not do that. That's a terrible idea.
Tax Avoiders. There's Taxman on the Apple II. Post in the comments below your tax games that you'd like to see us play.
Yeah, or don't.
Or don't.
Because
Please
we're not
don't.
going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Ann Westfall wrote surveying stuff for the TRS-80. Do we know
Yeah,
anything
before
else
she
about
got
Ann?
into gaming. No, no. I mean, the cursory research we do into these games, her Wikipedia page was somewhat sparse,
Yeah.
and I couldn't be bothered to go to a second website to do any to do any research. But yeah, the TRS-80 surveying. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, we did. Like, I got to Paul Ritchie and saw that he was from Star Control and went, oh, okay, this all makes sense now because this game is basically a tactical map with an arcade combat system.
Right. It's like proto
Star
whatever
Control.
that game. Star Control. Yeah.
Yeah. And it had a couple incarnations. It started on the Atari 800, but grew out of that. Apple, Commodore, Amiga, DOS, Macintosh, NES, obviously, Amstrad, CPC, the Spectrum, the PC-88, Apple II. And then there was an Archon 2, there was an Archon Classic, there's an Archon Ultra. If you look on Steam, there's like an Archon Remastered now.
There must be an Archon following out there to merit that many titles, and it's coming out on Intellivision's new console, which is called the Amico, which I didn't even know was a thing until this morning.
I'll believe it when I see it with the Intellivision console. I have, it's much like the Atari console. Atari finally made it, but
Yeah.
the way these guys are pushing out these old consoles or trying to reinvigorate their old console markets or their old brand names, I just very skeptical of the delivery system.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, that's my take on that. There's another game that's like this, that's not this though, called Dark Legions. If you like this sort of game, go play Dark Legions. It's better. It's 93, out by SSI. You buy armies of monsters and then you fight them against each other on this more realistic board and then go and do arcadey middle things.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
We'll play that sometime.
Yeah, I would like to. Like I like strategy boardy kind of games a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't have the best time with Archon. But I could definitely appreciate what they were trying to do and what they kind of like. It's successful in some ways. But man, like at the end of the day, you could have the best, most intricate strategy game ever. You could have, Sun Tzu playing it in Valhalla with Gary Kasparov. But if you don't like the mini game, you're going to have a bad time with this. And I didn't really like the mini game.
Right. I wasn't. So my thing was, like, I wasn't good at the mini game. So I tried to compensate for that by getting good at the main game. And let's, when it comes back up, let's describe the board.
Yeah.
And kind of, I'll pause it here in a second and I'll talk about what's happening. So you have this chessboard thing, right? You got white square. Oh, let me get the monsters to appear back here. Boop, boop.
Yeah, get those guys back.
You got this chessboard. You got white squares, black squares. When two creatures overlap each other, you go to that arcade screen and you have a fight it out. If you're on your color square, your creature will be stronger. So you want to make sure you get attacked when you're on whites, black gets attacked when it's on blacks, or dark gets attacked when it's on darks, however you want to call it. And then in the middle, you'll see you got this different colored section that sort of flows between the two. And you got to be careful when you're on there, because if you're on the wrong time of your flow and you get jumped, it's going to get really messy. So you need to try and time that for when it's your color.
Right. And it's good because it makes you be cautious and it makes you manage where your pieces are, and you have to be really thoughtful. And it's cool that carries over into the mini game.
Yeah.
And but still, if you don't like the mini game, if you're not good at the mini game, It doesn't matter.
It won't
And that's
matter too much.
ultimately the problem.
It will help in the minigame, but it won't matter. My problem with what I just said is the AI plays super cautiously every time. It's if you decide to play cautiously and spend more time on this chessboard, it kind of gets unfun.
Yeah, it takes a long time. You almost have to be aggressive if you want to move this thing along.
Because there's no, get people to the other side of the board for things. It's just so the AI will park itself on dark squares and not leave dark squares.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unless you decide to go onto a dark square, and then it'll attack you.
Right.
Like, okay, so I've got to deliberately put myself in a bad situation, or I can't. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
Right.
There is one other thing we should talk about this board right here. Wizards can cast a spell.
Yeah, that's very cool. It adds another little layer of strategy on top of it, because you have to kind of use those thoughtfully, and you can get yourself out of jams with it. It's great. I always played as the dark piece because you get to choose at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, the bane of my existence is that phoenix that's flying around right now. No matter what I did, I could not defeat that phoenix in combat. No
It's
matter
hard
how many
against
pieces
the AI.
I threw at it. Yeah, it's really good because it can like explode and it becomes invulnerable. Invulnerable while it's exploding.
Right. So, yeah, you have to attack it within a certain range for it to not explode in time to take damage. But if you're that close, it can explode and hurt you, which is what you're trying to avoid. This guy here is the bane of my existence. It's the, like, doppelganger pudding guy.
Doppelganger pudding guy, I believe, is what he's referred to as in the manual.
Yeah, we'll talk about that manual, too, because that is a sassy-ass manual.
It is.
You can get double kills, too, which I think is cool.
Yeah, you can kill each other. You can get killed after you've killed the other person.
Mm-hmm. So, the doppelganger pudding guy, he will take the form of whatever piece he's fighting. But if you remember what I said about the enemy won't leave their colored square, with the doppelganger pudding guy, you will always be fighting your exact piece, but it will always have an advantage because that guy won't leave his color squares.
Right.
What do you do with that? Like,
right. It's really hard. Like you can see the Phoenix doing what the Phoenix do here, and you have no ranged at all. Or is it the other way around? Oh, you're light. Yeah, so you're doing the Phoenix thing. But it's really hard. Like it's hard to win the minigame, man. And what's cool about it is you can kind of throw people at a piece and get rid of it eventually because it remembers how much health they have. That is like huge. And an interesting thing, like you obviously can't do that in like chess or whatever.
Right.
But it does.
Enough pawns will eventually get the queen.
Yeah, right. So like if you're like crappy against the Phoenix or the pudding mancer or whatever he is, you can still take him out, but it leaves you in such a weakened position because you've thrown so many dudes at it that maybe it's not enough.
So one of the strategies I started figuring out eventually, because the pudding mancer was like, I started making games just to beat the pudding mancer because I'm like, I'm figuring this out.
Is a pudding mancer a mage that controls pudding?
I think so.
Okay, we're
going to go with that. There's a spell called Imprison. So I'd try to get the pudding on a white square, imprison it there, and then summon an elemental. So you can summon an elemental for one fight. Whatever damage it does, it does. Like if it wins, great. If it doesn't, fine.
Right.
So I'd, attack him with my summoned elemental, and if he beat him, well, that's over. And if he didn't, I thought, oh, I'll have done enough damage to him that it won't matter. But remember what I said about he takes the form of whatever he's in? It heals all his hit points, too. There's, like, no stopping that thing. It's miserable.
Yep, you really come to hate some of the some of the players you're playing against. And it's cool because the two sides have different creatures,
Mm-hmm.
but they're like similar. Like there's a Jinn that's kind of like the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's cool because, there's the light and the dark, and it's not just like
Right.
everyone's an ogre and a knight,
But like the Jinn and the Phoenix, okay, there's a little bit of difference there. They're similar in their attacks. The Phoenix explodes,
Right.
does an area damage. The Jinn does this area damage, but it can move, but you can still hit it. So they have very similar things, but not exactly.
Right. It's very good.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool asymmetrical battle system.
But I didn't like the mini game.
But you didn't like the minigame. I'm trying to think of what I was going to say about it here.
I had a sense with the mini game that okay, the computer's really good, but I had a sense that once you figure out how to beat it, you could just like beat it.
Maybe.
And I never figured out how to do that.
Maybe. I was getting better. I will say, because the board is randomized and changes during battle, I don't know that you will ever get a solid strategy. Like, each piece will have its own techniques you'll want to use against another piece. So, like, figuring out how knights work against a troll will not be the same as figuring out how knights work against a phoenix. Like, you're never going to have an overall minigame strategy. What
But
I wanted
I think,
to... Okay, go.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go.
No, you go ahead.
Please.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say that in the overall game, I think you could figure out which pieces you're best at playing,
Yes.
and how you like to play, and then you could like develop your skills and a strategy based around what you're good at.
Yes.
But I was not able to do that. Okay, now you go.
Now, what I was going to say is, what I think would make this game fun that we didn't get to do is play against each other.
Yes, that would have been a blast.
In high school, playing this against another human, that would have been fun. Because, like you were talking about with the Phoenix, you're trying to shoot it and it never misses becoming invulnerable. A human will. A human will make mistakes. Playing this minigame against a human would feel more fair.
I think this would be a lot of fun to play against a person in person.
And so there's my other question, because it's another thing we didn't do since it was a short game. Is it unfair because we were playing the Commodore version and the Apple II or the Atari's better? Like, maybe they have a different AI. That happens between systems. Or maybe because we were doing it on an emulator and that changed the speed just enough that it could react faster.
That's definitely possible. Because this thing was hard. Like I
really
never
hard.
won. I never won a game. I did better the more I played it, but I was still never like that close. And like you're getting pretty much decimated here.
This is my first time I played it for this stuff. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. But like my first game was even worse than that. Like I was just like throwing people at creatures, just trying to get one win, and I like finally did it, but then I had no one left. So it was like over in 10 minutes.
Yeah, so I like did the first, like I did this first game, and you'll see I'm giving no consideration towards like where I'm sending my pieces. It hadn't occurred to me yet, because I hadn't read the manual yet, that the colored squares meant something.
Right. That's super important.
It's super
understand.
important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the backbone of the game and how you can manage this. Ooh.
So that's, I mean, but that's one of the things about this game is you can get better. Like, we played for a while. We had a hard time with the minigame. We didn't have fun with the minigame is another thing.
We should also say, too, that in the board, you can win by controlling 4 special squares or getting rid of all the other
5 squares,
creatures.
yeah.
Or I'm sorry, 5. Yeah, you can see you can kind of see them blinking there.
lights.
They look like eyeballs. Yeah. So that's really, though, like my strategy was never evolved enough that, or I never did well enough that I could make inroads into the controlling all of those. So It's
Well, I mean, so you can do it by controlling them, but those things will also heal guys that are on them. So if you've got someone damaged, you might want to put them on it, but then you're guarding it with a weaker piece. So when I described this game and I'm telling you about it, I like what I hear. It just didn't translate into that when I sat down to play it.
exactly. Like on paper, everything sounds like it should be right up my alley. Like I love battle chess. I love the concept of that. As a kid, I like strategy games. I like board games. I like, D&D, or what does he call it in the manual? Like morons and maces or something.
Something like that.
But I just like I couldn't make that mini game work. And I think if
Demons and
if
dimwits, monsters and morons.
monsters and morons. If it were if we were playing it together, I think this would have been a blast.
Right. I could see that being way more fun. Because there would have been a give and take. There would have been a back and forth. And there would have been... Yeah, just... It would be more interesting. So if you're going to play this, definitely find someone to play it with. Or play one of the newer versions that might have better AI or something. But...
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the graphics. Because I know you were looking for it on the Amiga. I looked at the Amiga. I didn't... It looked better, but I don't feel like it looked amazing.
Yeah, that's fair.
But even on the Commodore... This is pretty good for Commodore.
Yeah, I like the sprites. Like, you can tell what everything is. It looks fine.
Yeah. And they didn't cheap out by just like... I mean, they did up and down animations. They could have saved space by just having it go up and down. Lots of games did that.
Mm-hmm.
They always had a directions. The other guy could see what you're doing and made stuff fade in and out and not just pop in and out. They put a lot of time and attention for what's an otherwise minimalist game from 1983. For 1983, this would have been mind-blowing. For 2021, it hurt my hand playing it with the retro controller. I had to use a gamepad. And
Yeah, that was my experience too. I had the best time playing it with a gamepad.
Mm-hmm. The sound was fine. There's not really any music or anything to it. Just bleeps and bloops. But
there's the reload noise that like you come to love to hear, because there's like a delay in the mini game before you can just spam shooting.
Right. And everybody's reload is timed differently, or at least that was what I was seeing. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I didn't sit down with a stopwatch, but I felt like some guys could attack way faster than other guys, and that's what makes these little like goblin and knight guys, because they can go whoosh, 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 so they're close, but they can hit like 3-4 times where you're still waiting for your reload.
Yeah. Orson Scott Card reviewed this game and liked it. Did you know that? Orson Scott Card, author of Ender's Game.
I didn't, but now I do.
Yep, now you know. That's a fun little bit of trivia. Before Orson Scott Card went insane, I think, or something happened with him. I don't know what.
I think he got super racist.
Is that what happened? Yeah.
That, or...
I know we don't like him anymore, but...
Yeah, why don't we like him anymore?
What are you Googling to find this out? Why do we hate Orson Scott Card?
Yeah,
now?
basically.
I've honestly not looked into it much, because Ender's Game was one of my favorite books as a kid, and like I don't want to have that thing where you have to decide if
homophobic. That's yeah.
You like the art, but you hate the artist. Like, what do you do with that? That's tough.
Yeah, it's gotten less tough for me.
Yeah.
As I create things, I realize how much of myself I put into them. And realizing that if you're liking the art, you need to, maybe you don't like the art.
Yeah.
But not everybody thinks that way. Some people can separate them, and to them I say, congratulations, you get to keep parts of your childhood that I'll never get to go back to. So I'm not judging. Right. I'm jealous.
Yeah, it's a tough thing.
So
with art.
Yeah. But thankfully, I don't think any of our people we're talking about today are, so we'll get back to happy things.
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. Keep
if
it that way.
If that's not true, don't tell us.
Yeah.
Because we want to continue to
I want to be the happiest
Archon,
person
but not
in the
enjoy
world.
it.
My dog's pretty happy, and that thing is dumb as a box of rocks, so...
Yeah. Well, you give it string cheese, I think.
Give string cheese sometimes.
It's a low bar.
Yeah. Mostly competition back then, I think, could see us playing and having a good time. I could see you coming over, grabbing a couple beers and drinking till we got about the same level of goodness. And
Yep. Remember when we used to play, what was that Atari game that was like Defender, but you were in the corner?
Warlords.
We used to play a lot of Warlords.
Such a good game. Warlords is the bomb.
So simple, but so much fun.
So much fun. So
that might be my favorite Atari game.
I can see that. That's definitely in my top 5. If it probably bounces in and out of my top 1, but it's up there.
Yeah.
The interface, I'll also say about this, is really good. You've got one button in the joystick, and it doesn't ever give numbers or overall stats, but I never felt like it was a hassle to do anything, and I never felt confused about what was happening.
Yeah, it does a good job of giving you information on the bottom of the screen to kind of keep you aware of what you're doing and who you're playing. Because sometimes the sprites, until you know them, are kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, really good interface. It moves well. It's really pretty impressive. I just didn't like the minigame.
Yeah. And so that's sort of my problem. And that goes back to when I saw it was Paul Ritchie. I'm like, oh, that's why. Like, it's Star Control 2. I don't like the minigame. And I know for some people, that's the whole reason to play it. And if you like Star Control's minigame and you want to see something earlier that he was getting his start on the ideas, check out Archon. Because it gets rid of a lot of the other stuff and just gets you right to the minigame as fast and as often as possible.
This is one I would say that if you haven't played it, it's worth trying because it might be your jam. Like this, I could very, very easily see this being someone's like, oh, Archon, like this is the game. Like I love this.
Yeah. I love all the ideas. I just didn't have fun.
Right.
And I don't know if I got better, I would have fun. I know I've said that a couple times, but it's sort of my big asterisk. It's like I was getting better, but I didn't feel like I was going to find the fun. So I stopped, but maybe I just needed to,
Yeah, I think it's hard to get better against the computer too. It would be easier to get better with
another
person where you could like experiment a little more freely because with the computer you're just like always balls to the wall trying to survive in those mini game fights.
Like playing Tekken or Mortal Kombat. If you got another human there, you can goof around for a little bit.
I would say if you do play this, definitely read the manual for 2 reasons. One is because it really helps you understand. There's some really good tips that are kind of helpful. And 2, because it's super sassy toward the end.
My pinnacle, if we want to get to that, is the manual. Like he was asked it, like one of the things they just preemptively answered a lot of Q&A that I don't know if came up from their testing or what, but one of them is, why don't trolls regenerate? And I'm going to read it because it was so good. Look, folks, despite what Head Dragon might like you to believe, fantasy was not invented in 1974, and L&L's interpretation of mythological beasts are hardly definitive. Role-playing games, L&L, Demons and Dimwits, Monsters and Morons, draw their subject matter, if not their game mechanics, from the same sources we do. 5,000 years of myths and legends and a close reading of certain contemporary writers and fantasy science fiction. If you don't approve of our trolls, complain to the Union.
He it's weird because he did Paul Ritchie did work on D&D, so I don't know if he's good-naturedly ribbing it or if there's some real anger because he really kind of goes at him
a couple times.
Yeah, there's like a few times. What was L&L? What did that stand for?
It just says L&Ls.
Oh, I thought it said what that stand for.
No, it
stood for.
LNL, Demons and Dimwits, Monsters and Morons.
Hmm.
So I think it was his way, probably using letters other than
Right, than D&D.
D&D, so he doesn't like directly call them out. But at the same
Right,
time,
it's
we know what he means.
it's very, very clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the 1974. If you were like, well, maybe no, it's 1974. Like, we know what that is.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that. That made me happy. My pit was every game I played.
Yeah, lizards and lunkheads. That's what LNL is.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. He mentions it offhandedly in like the previous question.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for my peak and pit. Like I had a game where I felt like I was doing better.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gaining a little ground and I was understanding the strategy and how to be cautious because I'm not known for being cautious in video games. I don't know if you know that about me or not.
I think we've mentioned it.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
So I was like, okay, Matt, get your shit straight, dial it back, stay on your color, manage it. I won some fights. It was going well. And then the Phoenix just like had its way with me. And then I beat the Phoenix. This is the pit.
Yeah.
I beat the Phoenix and the wizard resurrected it. And I was like,
you could bring back
no.
one piece.
Yeah. I was like, no way. So that was it for me.
Yeah. I was getting sick of the Pudding Mancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I switched to dark so I could use it and then had the same thing with the Phoenix where I'm like, God damn it.
Right.
I can't touch that thing.
Right. It's so frustrating and it's unrewarding. Like even if you figure it out, it's still very frustrating to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a timing game because you have to get it to shoot its shot and then still have time to shoot it. It's just really hard.
Yeah, and you got to shoot it where you're in because the bullets are slow enough to dodge, but only if you're a machine.
Right. Right. You're going to walk right into a shot sometimes if you're playing this against a computer.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's not like this isn't one where we're going to say it's bad. It's a good game. It's just not our game.
Yeah, completely. I
Except
think that
for the
about sums it
manual,
up.
which is our manual.
Yes, we love the manual. And there's a nice thing about the developers at the back too. I really like it when they include that about the artists, kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like knowing about who made these games, and I know that modern companies have like hundreds of people trying to make games, but I do question if that's necessary sometimes. I mean, you might need a team, but do you need that many? I think doing that many is just so that they can get rid of like people putting their names on games more than it being needed for a good game.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Anyway, yeah, that's
Archon.
That's Archon. Our next long game, still Duke Nukem 3D, finishing it up. Happy anniversary, Duke.
Yep. Formative game for our relationship.
Mm-hmm. Still got to get some multiplayer in before we record next, but
yep.
Here we go. Short game.
And the next short game is
Night Games.
Night Games. Very interesting.
Yes. I liked this game as a kid. Let's see if I still do.
I certainly hope so because I'm really into this cover.
Yeah.
I like a good mace or a good Morning Star, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to upset the purists and use the wrong name. I think it's a Morning Star if it's on a chain, right? And a mace if it's on a stick.
A flail?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about flail.
So, and like there's some argument as to whether these were ever even used in battle because it requires you to have so much room to make it work. Like,
right. It's a terrible
it's a terrible
design.
military weapon. It's probably not a bad one-on-one, but You're not going to get in a bar fight with it where you're like, whoosh.
You might. I could see you.
I could get in a bar fight.
A morning star to a bar fight.
Might as well get as many people involved as I can.
Yeah.
Then scurry out while they're fighting each other.
What I really like about this image, though, is that it still has the hanger thing missing.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah. No, as with many of these, I found this one. So
yeah.
No, that's a good thing. And then we won't do it this week. I think we'll do it in a couple weeks. We'll do another Nox recording.
Yes,
because next week will be Duke, and yeah.
Yep. We're streaming Nox Thursday, alternating Thursdays.
Usually alternating Thursdays, but it's a
there's
weird
a brief
number of weeks this month. So
yeah, don't question it. Chris holds the calendar in his brain and just tells me when to show up.
If you're still watching, first off, good on you. We're impressed. But first weekend of every month, we record our long game. 2 weeks after that, we record our short game. The weeks just after each of those, we do a live stream. If there's a fifth Thursday in the month, too bad. We're taking the time off, damn it.
Yep. Thank you for explaining that. I will still not remember.
That's okay. No one else does either. It apparently is very convoluted, but it limits. I can then have a better limit on what month we're on for managing stuff. So It makes my life easier, not yours. Tough.
I'm in front of this computer all the time, so I'm like available at a moment's notice. Right. I haven't gotten up out of this chair in 6 months.
The chair, he's more chair than man now.
That's right. I'm a being of pure IT.
All right.
Well.
On that note, let's head out and give these people their day back. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Big thank you to all of you watching, sharing, liking, subscribing, suggesting games, commenting on our videos, or supporting us on Patreon. We appreciate all of your support and look forward to sharing many more videos with you. Thank you again.